Like Mike said, this happened on Christmas Day, of all things, and we're in Deerfield, pretty quiet little town for the most part. Not something I expected at all when I showed up to work that afternoon. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon for those of you who aren't familiar with it. We were called to a residential house for a 20-year-old female. She's in her 20s. She wasn't 20, in her 20s, who was for sure overdosing on heroin at the time. The person who called 911 actually was there with her, witnessed it happen. We arrived on scene within less than a minute of actually being dispatched there. I think I was telling others, by the time all 4 of us showed up was within probably 30 seconds of each other. We all kind of pulled in at the same exact time. By the time I got into the house, Officer Davey had already administered 1 shot of the Narcan, or the Naloxone, already. After that, we immediately started the CPR, tried to get the AED going on her. The AED advised no shock. About 2 minutes went by, and we decided that the Naloxone needed to get another boost going, so we gave her an additional shot. I injected that into her left thigh. CPR continued. Another 2 minutes or so went by, which felt like an eternity at the time, and the Deerfield Bannockburn Fire Department showed up. We continued CPR with them. They administered a 3rd shot of Naloxone through an IV, and after another couple minutes of working on her CPR, doing breaths, she began to blink and came to. So it felt like an eternity. It was just in the moment with adrenaline. Some people were saying that some departments had a little bit of kind of hesitancy to want to jump into this program. Well, I can tell you, when you're in the moment doing it, you don't look at it as a heroin user. You look at it as a person who's lying on the ground, that if you have this tool, why wouldn't you use it? It's the same as an AED, or it's the same as your hands doing CPR. It's just an additional tool that you have, now you can use. It worked. Like the ER staff said, if it wasn't for the Narcan, I honestly do not believe that she'd still be here today. When we arrived on scene, the first thing I did was kneel down next to her and look right in her eyes, and in my opinion, she was dead. It was lifeless. It looked like the light was completely out, and there was just, I didn't honestly think this was even worth a shot to do, but we tried it anyway, and sure enough, she came storming back. So it was great. Thank you very much for having us here. This whole thing wouldn't be even possible if it wasn't for your initiative right here, if it wasn't for the Lake County Health Department, the pharmaceutical companies that donate. Susan McKnight, she's been huge in getting this to all of our departments and helping along the way. Our chief for sending us and having the faith in the program to get us trained and have it do it. It takes 30 minutes out of some officer's day to get them trained to possibly save a life. So it was kind of, when I was in the police academy not too long ago, I'm pretty young, as you can tell. They told us in this career you have 3 things every day. You can lose a life, take a life, or save a life. And luckily, we got to do the better part of that day. So it was very, very intense to be a part of it. And I'm glad that it had a positive outcome. And again, thank you for having us here.
Thank you. All right. Chief, do you want to say anything, please?
Just a few words. Certainly we recognize the efforts of these officers, and it's greatly appreciated, but we also know without the efforts of this group, and especially the subcommittee to get this initiative going, we would have lost a life that night. So we certainly recognize that it takes this type of effort to make that work. We've had conversations that if there was an odds charts in Vegas, Deerfield would have been pretty far down on that list of places that this would have happened. But fortunately, the product came out. We got it into place, and the officers responded to training in a very timely manner. As chiefs, we have discussions. There's been some hesitancy by some departments, by some officers, by some chiefs because of the needle. Clearly, these officers will speak on behalf of the EpiPen that the product works. It was relatively seamless and easy, the use of it. And their response, I think, was critical, as what everyone in this room has done to get it there, and we thank you for your efforts as well. Thank you.